Good morning, everybody. My name is Bree from the Alchemist Collective, where we elevate the mundane and make it possible for working people like you to integrate their spirituality into their everyday lives in order to achieve their goals and to manifest the destiny that they have chosen for themselves. Today, we're going to be talking about denial, the biggest pitfall in spirituality. So, what do we mean when we say that? It's the age of Aquarius, so we've had an upswing in people who are flocking to, spirituality that feel that there's something more to this everyday life. So they're going to be flocking to yoga, affirmations, law of attraction, positive thinking, things like that. So that's all fine. Don't get me wrong. These are great aspects of the path that you can incorporate even into the most well-rounded path. They're going to incorporate some of this in there. However, the problem comes when people get so identified with this Wiccan idea. Honestly, it is a Wiccan idea of love and light. Never put out any negativity, only positive. Don't hex, don't think negative thoughts about yourselves and others, that kind of stuff. And that's great, love and light. It gives us a great frame of reference for what we're striving for in our everyday lives. But the problem is that when you do this, you're denying a whole nother aspect of nature, of yourself, of humanity. And that's very detrimental because you're not understanding these things and you're leaving yourself open to some pretty dark shit. Yeah? And I mean, you can even see this in nature, that this is a law. This is a universal law. It's the law of polarity. All right? Things are the same. They're just different extremes. And you can kind of see this even in, the natural sciences. You can see this in physics. Think of hot and cold. They're both heat. They're both how fast the atoms are moving. But we perceive them differently because, different levels of extremes are going to have, different characteristics perceived by the human. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that we can all live in, hot weather all the time. Even in the ecosystem, you can't do that. You're going to need to balance that out with cold or with rain or something like that. Plus, if you subscribe to this whole love and light thing, how are you going to know when you're happy? If everything's good all the time, how do you know? How do you know what to avoid? There's also the aspect of how do you expect to curse break or cleanse or heal if you don't even understand the mechanics behind either the spell or the state of mind that is causing the main issue that you're trying to, change. You can't. The witch you can't hex can't heal. It's like sending a doctor in there and they haven't even read the whole medical book. It's not a good idea, So yeah, you gotta, for people who subscribe to the love and light thing, I'm not expecting you to go out and start hexing everybody. That's actually really, really irresponsible. And, you actually don't even have to hex within your own craft if you don't want to. That's totally fine. It never hurts to read. And I would really encourage everyone, even if you're, strictly against hexing, I encourage everybody to do some shadow work. Get to know the darker aspects of yourself. Get to know the darker aspects of humanity, simply so that they cannot be used against you in the future. Know thyself. It's one of the first tenets of witchcraft, correct? Know thyself. In all your dark, muddy glory. Yeah, man, you got to do it. It's important. It'll change your life and it'll take your craft to the next level. Shadow work. All right, so our second point is a lot of practitioners actually end up denying, their heritage, their roots. We're doing root work. Well, I'm doing root work. I don't know what kind of, craft you guys are into, but that's what I personally do. Well, part of what I do. The roots. You can't have a tree without its roots. You can't have you without your ancestors, without your guiding spirits. A lot of people make the assumption that they can just kind of a lot of people make the assumption that they can just do everything on their own. They can be a secular witch. And don't get me wrong, for some people that works. Sure. Depending on what type of magic you're doing. But I promise you, you would not be where you are today if you did not have the help of your ancestors, whether you acknowledge them or not. So if that's the case, what do you think would happen if you actually took the time to sit down and honor them correctly? All you got to do, it doesn't have to be anything super extravagant. All you need is a white candle and a glass of water. Maybe a picture if you got it. You know, you can give other offerings if you like, cigars, weed. My spirits like weed. Alcohol. Be careful with the alcohol. It can rile some people up. But basically the point is, take the time to honor your ancestors. They will reward you in ways that you don't even expect. You know, your gifts will become a lot clearer. Your roads are going to open up a lot easier. You know, things are just going to fall into place for you a lot easier when you're working when you're working with the energies that support you instead of working against them or ignoring it completely. So honor your ancestors. Work with your ancestors. Even if you don't know your ancestors personally, or if you don't understand, or if you didn't get along with your ancestors in life, stuff changes after death, you know? They're out here on the other plane. They've got their own challenges, their own, you know, their own tests, their own goals. So, you know, feed their energy, they will feed yours. We are them. They are us. Honor your ancestors. Don't deny them. And then our final point here is one that I'm personally kind of guilty of. So denial of the physical self. You know, we're in this, I don't want to say religious, but in this spiritual community, I personally get really caught up because I think I'm doing a great work. And, you know, when you're getting all these downloads, when you're working through things, when you're creating things, you know, when you're doing work, basically, it's very easy to kind of let everything else fall by the wayside, if that makes sense. You know, I mean, it's not like I live in squalor or anything, but it's very easy to, forget about dishes or, you know, forget to keep up with the little stuff in day-to-day life, and that really adds up over time. It seems small at first, but it adds up and it adds up and it adds up and it adds up until it's staring you in the face and you're like, holy shit, man, how did I get here? Is anyone else guilty of this, or is this just me? You know, or we'll neglect to eat, or neglect to exercise. And that has spiritual implications as well. We are spiritual beings inside a physical body. So it's very important that we find our, you know, our balance, that we find our groove, because in turn, that can actually sharpen your gifts when you're nice to your body, when you're kind to your body. When you're eating whole foods, you don't have all these preservatives and junk, you know, clogging up your pineal gland, clogging up your veins, your body, you know, things can move, things can be processed correctly. And then, you know, when you're working out, you're going to become more in tune with your body. How am I feeling today? Why am I feeling this way today? Where am I feeling this today? And in turn, like, even if you have gifts like psychometry, say you're picking up a necklace, now I can really tell that there is something going on with this because I'm in tune with my body. I can feel the reaction in my hand. I feel the tightening in my gut, maybe. You know, this kind of stuff, it's important. Don't neglect your body. Your body is, at the end of the day, our body is kind of all we have. It's a tool to get to where we want to go. It's a tool to do what we need to do on this plane. So take care of it. It was gifted to you. Stop denying yourself. Stop denying your ancestors. And stop denying the darkness. If you do these 3 things, I guarantee your spirituality, your work, your craft, it's gonna go to the next level. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. All right, I have to get ready to go to work now, but this is Bree from the Alchemist Collective, and I'm signing off. Everyone have a good morning, good night. All right, see you later.